So what's up guys, welcome to the video. Vardien here from WolfingPhysique. Alright, today I want to talk about something. Update. As you guys saw, I was sick on my holiday, and that meant for me I wasn't eating. I ate low protein, and before that I was cutting, of course, to really drastic levels. Yeah, and you know, it kind of screwed with me. Energy levels low. Always cold. There's all kinds of weird shit that you don't want to have. And after that, like I said, I got a food poisoning. And when I go on holiday, I always come back like 4 kilos heavier or something. Like just heal from the previous cut. And yeah, this time it didn't go that well. No. What the fuck? I literally had days that the only thing I was eating was a little piece of watermelon and a little bread. Just no protein. I couldn't get any protein in my system, and yeah, I was still walking a lot, and yeah, before that I did those depletion workouts. So yeah, bottom line, I wanna keep it kind of short. I lost a lot of gains. And am I stressing about it? No, actually not. I'm not. I can honestly say I lost the most amount of gains in the previous cut and in my vacation when I got sick, because when I got home my appetite was so down. Yeah, so I can say I lost my gains, guys. But I'm not stressing about it because I can gain it all back easier than how I gained it in the first place, if you get what I mean. So today I want to talk about muscle memory. Is it real? Why can you rebuild your muscle easier, faster than when you built it in the first place? So let me explain. You probably heard of the saying of those who have good training experience and who are forced to take a break, don't go back to nothing, but return to the old level relatively quickly. Matter of good muscle memory, perhaps? Our muscles have special cells in that they're incredibly plastic. That means they can grow or shrink at will depending on our lifestyle. Resistance training is an example that can cause muscle growth, resulting that muscle fibers can be 100,000 times larger than an average cell in our body. On the other hand, bad nutritional habits or a sedentary lifestyle can cause muscles to shrink. We call this atrophy, so muscle breakdown. But will you completely lose your muscle, and will you have to rebuild it as long how you built it in the first place? The term muscle memory could be really misleading for a lot of people because you don't have actually muscle memory inside the muscle. That would be a little bit weird. Two things are happening here. First, in your central nervous system. Whenever you learn a new skill like riding a bike, the information gets stored in our brain in a place that is called the cerebelium. The more you practice a skill, you will get better at it, even when you take a long break. Your neuromuscular system is already programmed to execute the movement. Can you imagine yourself on a bicycle that you did it for like 10 years and then you stop for a year and then you can't ride a bicycle anymore? The second thing is happening within your muscle cells. The first time you start training, you will get stronger because the muscle adapts to the stimulus of weight training. It does this by increasing the amount of myonuclei in your muscle cells. It was believed that if you stop training, you will cause atrophy, creating cell death that is also called apoptosis, that removes the amount of myonuclei. But research has shown that the amount of myonuclei still exists within the muscle cells. So the muscle can skip the process of creating new myonuclei and build up your muscle faster than ever before. This is why the term muscle memory is used. I would rather call it myonuclei memory, but that's kind of weird as well. But I hope this was helpful. The researchers did develop a model, so let's have a look at it. So when you first lift weights, there are little repair cells floating around the muscle cells, like satellites. The satellite cells fuse with our muscle cells and give nuclei. So then there's more nuclei in our muscle cells, and that means that there's more space. So what does that mean? That means our muscle cell can grow. So when you stop lifting weights or training in general, all that muscle size will get less big, so then you are losing muscle. But the nuclei still sticks around. That means when you start lifting again, you will get your muscle size back, because you can skip the process of creating new nuclei. Only downside is that they did study on mice. But in they conducted a study on humans with the goal to see how muscle memory works within humans. The study had people train for 7 weeks, and after the 7 weeks they would take 7 weeks off, and after that they would train for 7 weeks again. They found that the changes that happened at the DNA of the subject stayed the same, and it doesn't go away during 7 weeks of non-lifting. Your DNA is responsible for pumping out new muscle protein, so the muscle memory is written in the DNA of your muscle cells. While this study does not show how long this lasts, it definitely shows us it's possible that it can last for years to get a big response when you retrain after a long layoff. So I recommend not stress if you have not trained for weeks, because the myonuclei still sticks around anyway. The next thing, if you want to build the muscle back up, I did not find it to be necessary to be in a crazy caloric surplus, because building new myonuclei is really hard, and if you don't have to build that to regain your old mass back, I recommend staying at your maintenance calories to begin with to avoid unnecessary fat gain. The third thing to give you as advice is to stay patient and give your body enough time to adapt. So I hope that was clear. So, the reason I was not stressing about it was because, I built enough nuclei in my muscle cells. So it's easier for me to regain my muscle back. So that is how muscle memory works. And that's why I eat it at maintenance, because I have enough nuclei in my muscle cells to rebuild that faster. Building nuclei in a muscle is much harder. It requires a caloric surplus, unless you're a beginner. But let's just not get into that. We'll get into that in another video in the future. But for now, I hope it was helpful. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, and much love.